I'm Samantha Driggle.
And I'm Chancey Boyce. Welcome to the 10th fully live broadcast of Lotus Leaf Live, here remotely from our own homes, where we'll be discussing the news every Friday.
This week, we will be delivering several important school announcements, and we'll be interviewing Dr. John Ray live on this broadcast.
Today is Friday, November 13th, 2020, and this is Lotus Leaf Live.
Early last Saturday morning, the Associated Press projected Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. Key states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and our very own home state of Michigan swung from red to blue, leaving Biden with 290 electoral college votes. Cities across the country both celebrated and protested Biden's historic win.
The Trump administration is pointing to hundreds of signed affidavits from polling workers alleging irregularities in the vote counting process. In order to flip the election in his favor, Trump would have to prove enough voter fraud to flip 3 swing states in a likely Supreme Court battle.
Speaking of historic, let's talk about Madam Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, who is the first female Black and South Asian vice president, as well as the first VP to attend a historically Black college/university. Harris is one of the many historic wins from last Tuesday's election, among many other firsts in the Senate and Congress. Here's a few.
The U.S. has recently surpassed 10.3 million COVID-19 cases, with more than 6,000 new cases a day in Michigan alone. However, on Monday, companies Pfizer and BioNTech announced that their COVID-19 vaccine was proven to be 90% effective in their trial of over 42,000 people from diverse backgrounds. Though the vaccine will not become widespread for at least a number of months, it is still a glimmer of hope for the world.
As you all know, today is Friday the 13th once again. The last time we had Friday the 13th was March 13th, the last day of our regular in-person learning. After 8 months of pandemic, an unresting election, several severe storms, and murder hornets, we finally made it to the next one. But seriously, Japanese giant hornets have been spotted in Washington state. Local officials are working hard to track down and destroy all of these invasive hornet nests, which are most harmful to local bee populations and humans.
Election season can be stressful, Sam. Exciting, scary, and chaotic as a whole. Here is Maya Kasperzak, our very own political junkie, discussing ways to relieve post-election stress and how to take care of yourself during these times. Here's Maya.
Hello everyone, it's Maya. The last couple of weeks have been pretty chaotic, to say the least, especially with last week's election. According to a survey conducted by the American Psychological Association, 68% of Americans say that the 2020 election is a significant source of stress in their life. Not only is Trump claiming voter fraud and taking legal action against certain states, but we are now in what is historically called the lame duck period. So overall, this can be a really stressful and scary time in this country. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips as to how to take care of yourself and how to practice self-care. Number 1, know your emotional boundaries. Take time to process your feelings and figure out what you are and are not ready for at this time. Self-reflection is very important in making healthy decisions for yourself and your.
To see more ways to de-stress, watch Maya's whole video on our YouTube channel, which is linked here.
After looking at the data regarding coronavirus case numbers in local zip codes with our health department, Dr. Julie Everly and the Monroe School Board have suspended the start of the winter sports season, holding off sports such as wrestling and basketball to prevent further spread of the virus. Everly says that she hopes there is a downward trend in the data, but the way the numbers are looking now, she believes the suspension of the sports season is the only right thing to do. And now, live with us from the school is Athletic Director Dr. John Ray. Thank you for being here, Dr. Ray.
Thank you, Samantha.
First, with many athletes not practicing, do you have any advice for them on how to stay in shape from their home?
Well, there's some easy things. There's several apps that kids can download or go online and and but there's 5 things to remember if you're working out at home. My recommendation is stay home and stay safe. And the 5 things that you do is the workout has to have a warm up. Secondly, there's got to be cardiovascular or aerobic workout. You need to have some resistance training, strength, and there's plenty of things online to show you how to do that at home. Number 4, you got to have flexibility moves. You've got to loosen up and get rid of the lactic acid after doing all the workout. And number 5, you have to have a proper cool down, and you can learn about all these online.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Now, a big question I'm sure a lot of viewers have is about playing for college. One thing I do know is that many athletes depend on colleges to look at them during their season for scholarships and simply playing on the college team. Do you have any insight on what the NCAA has planned for what colleges might do to scout young athletes?
Well, scouting young athletes has taken a perilous turn for many of them because in unprecedented times, the NCAA has just announced that they're going to extend eligibilities for all college athletes an additional year. So you think, oh, that's great. But the problem is it really makes making a roster more difficult. For example, if I want to make a volleyball team and they're already carrying their limit of, let's say, 18 players and they all want to come back, the NCAA is allowing for them to expand their rosters and add people, but now how about playing time? So some of the things that have happened is schools have invited, we have a particular athlete that's a Division I quality player that's been offered an opportunity in North Carolina, but they're asking her to come for free for the first year, then they'll scholarship her for the next 3 years. So it's going to be a very difficult time for our seniors going into college.
Well, that'll affect many of our athletes. Thank you for letting us know about that new information, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now back to you, Chancey.
Thanks, Sam. In other news, all students became remote this week, with small groups and learning labs returning home. I talked to Superintendent Dr. Julie Everly in a recorded phone conversation about the decision. I first asked her about what guidelines are being used to help the administration decide how to shut down in-person learning. This is what she said.
I meet with the health department every week, once a week, to discuss our cases. So as we were seeing not only the 14-day average for 481, 61, and 62 moving well beyond 10 and continuing to increase every single day last week, we also internally in our district were seeing more and more positive COVID cases, but the real problem became with the quarantines. More and more quarantined students and staff, quite a few staff, to the point where, being able to shift staff around or have enough replacements for those staff who had health department ordered quarantines, we were not able to maintain staffing levels that we felt comfortable with.
Dr. Everly explained that learning lab leaders are still working hard and wanted to end with her thanks to MPS staff for all their hard work in making the change.
And I'm really very proud of the plan that our district has in place, because although the learning labs are physically not operating on a daily basis, the learning lab leaders continue those roles even with all students in remote. I think it's very important that we all stand very proud during this difficult time and stand as one as we, as a community, move through a very difficult time staying together.
For the full interview, visit our podcast on Spotify. Lotus Leaf Live, the podcast.
Thanks, Chancey, for that interview. And now one of those positive things that MPS worked on is World Kindness Day, which is today. Last week, our Positive Peer Influence, or PPI students, created colorful and inspiring chalk messages outside of our elementary schools to lift spirits and to spread kindness. All MPS students and staff are encouraged to celebrate by going to our MPS Facebook page and sharing ways that they have shown kindness this week.
Another one of those things is the MPS annual campaign for the United Way, which wrapped up on November 6th. Employees were invited to donate $1 to the United Way and wear orange and black or jeans to work in October. Corporate sponsors matched local donations in the community, so each $1 raised $4 for the United Way. So, remember you're not alone. Try to remain positive and stay informed. Join us next week when we go remote again and bring you announcements and packages.
We will continue to keep our social media and website updated during these fast-changing times. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media at Lotus Leaf Live. You can read the full stories and more on our website, lotusleaflive.com. I'm Samantha Drugel.
And I'm Chancey Boyce. We hope everyone is staying safe and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.